Good evening and welcome to the preview for the weekend racing. It's Golden Slipper Day now. Never bet in 2-year-old races, so I've had a look at it as I do every other year, but it's a race we never poke our nose in. They're putting $1 million guaranteed or pool in the quartet. They're going to get that anyway, so they're not risking anything naturally. But there's a couple of weak favourites there tomorrow, and the wet track makes it a little bit on the interesting side. So there may be something there at a price that might interest you to get involved. Went through the Ascot meeting. Fairly ordinary horses here. Probably the last race. One more chance for Red Mercedes. Only if it's double figures. You'd want at least 10 or 12 to 1 to even consider backing it. Just has too many convictions the way it races. But at double figures, throw it in for one more chance. This is a pretty weak race. Eagle Farm, track's going to be dead. Went through that card, I think in race 6, Kentucky Woman. Good run last start, just missed. Should have won the race. Significant jockey change here. It's going to be hard to beat. I don't think it'll be any fancy price. But Eagle Farm, race 6, number 14, Kentucky Woman. We go to the Flemington meeting. There's some big fields here, a lot of 3-year-old races. But there's a couple of interesting races. Probably race 7 is obviously the best race, but not sure whether there's any great value here getting involved in a race like this. If Sham will win, there's 75-80% right it'll win this. It's a genuine group horse against these sort of horses, but hasn't had a run for 6 weeks, and it's well weighted with 56.5 after the claim. But it won't be any price, I wouldn't think. But Flemington race 7, number 1, Sham will win. We go to Hastings. There's 3 meetings in New Zealand. There's not much interest there for me. There's race 9 at Hastings. If number 15's a debtor, repeats its last run and gets ridden marginally better than the slaughter job she did on it last time, it's going to be hard to beat. It's got 52.5 kilos. It's drawn wide again, so it's probably going to work again, but it was a terrific effort. Got beat 3 lengths. So Hastings race 9, number 15 is a debtor. And we go to Riccarton. Now there is a TT jackpot in New Zealand, and I think the pot's going to be, I don't know, I think it's about 150, 160. They're not betting in these. They only invested about 70,000 last week. So we'll have a close look. We'll probably have a small play, but there won't be any great interest. We'll wait. And they've woken up. They're not guaranteeing 1 million pool anymore. They're guaranteeing 250,000, so they're not risking anything there. So the value has gone out of it at the moment. We'll have a close look. I think we've got some legitimate chance of snagging it, we'll get involved. Otherwise, we'll wait and see if we can jackpot another couple of times. Roe Hayes, Riccarton race 8, terrific run last start. Got a long way back and made a lot of ground against a slow tempo. It's going to be very hard to beat in a race like this with 53 kilos. So Riccarton race 8, number 9, Roe Hayes. And we go to Rosehill. This is obviously the main meeting of the day. The early races, a couple of group races. You've got the 2,000 metre race. Not really that interested in it. Disclaimer ran a good race. Fresh, go better here, and the wet track's going to help it. It's got a chance in a fairly open betting race, I would think. Rosehill race 2, number 10, Disclaimer. Race 3, I didn't like anything. I thought Hot Schnitzel Sedcom will probably be hard to beat, but it's not a race I particularly like. Race 4, yeah, Catkins is just racing too well with this sort of weight structure. 2 kilos or 3 kilos over the limit. I mean, she should be given these 10 kilos, not 3 kilos, but it's not going to be any price. The wet track's perfect. Doesn't matter, good, dead or slow, or even heavy. Should be too good for these. Number 1, Catkins with 56 kilos. Race 5. High Tech was a good run last start. Went back. No vigour at all late. It was a really strange ride. I think he just realised he couldn't win, so he didn't ride it. Don't be surprised to see this improve, and the wet ground's a bonus. Rosehill Race 5, number 14, High Tech. We go to Race 6. Got this as a reasonable betting race by virtue of the fact that I don't like It's a Done Deal, Silent Achiever, or Fiorente. I've gone for the imported horse, Lose the Cour. Now, they bet 20 to 1 on Wednesday, which was a stupid price. We backed it at that price. It'll probably still be 8 or 10 to 1 in the field like this, but the wet ground is a big plus for this, and its first up run was very, very good. I think it's the one to beat in a race like this, especially given that the other 3 not super proficient on rain-affected going, and I'm happy to go around them at the tight end of the market. So at a bit of a price, Rosehill Race 6, number 10, Lose the Cour. Race 7, don't like the race at all. Wouldn't be getting involved there. Race 8, same thing applies there. The 2-year-olds, yeah, it's hard to say what they're going to do with Earthquake, I suppose. The thing is the wet track. Didn't think it was all that impressive last time, but I mean, it can only do what it's done. It's won 4 out of 4, so you can't knock it. But as I say, it's not a racer. For the sake of putting in a tip in case anybody wants to get involved, I've got 14 on top from 9, 3, 4, 10 and 13. The last race, interesting one here. The 3 Weary and the 13 Capers both raced well last start. I think there's a bit of improvement in both of them. I think they've got to go in. Number 5, Diametric. I think this is going to improve. Had a whole series of trials, and then its first up run was okay. I think it's going to improve significantly in this, and certainly, 1500, probably better if we can get it up around 2000, but at a price on the wet track, quite happy to include it. So I'll bracket the 3 of them, 3, 13 and 5, Rosehill Race 9. Tiaroa, probably the last couple of races are the reasonable betting races. Shandream, this didn't handle the wet ground at all last start. Surface is much better this time. I'm happy to go for it in the last race at a bit of a price. Tiaroa Race 9, number 4, Shandream. Now, I've had a look at Sundays. There's unraced everywhere. There is a TT jackpot, but 2 legs have got unraced, so we're automatically ruled out there. There's another race that's got 6 runners. There's another 1 or 2 races with unraced. It's one of the worst race meetings I've seen for a while. It's a bit strange this year what they're doing. We've had 2 weeks in a row where they haven't been able to muster full fields, and we've had fields with 6, 7 and 8 runners, which is very rare for Hong Kong. At this stage, I'm only really considering the 2 quartet races if they qualify. The last will qualify, the other one I'm not sure. It could be a complete pass, but we will wait and see Sunday and see whether we find anything in the last race that could be a price to give us a bit of value. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck if you play on the weekend, and good luck during the week.